This is Biotechnica's online session in order to guide you what you guys have to do after the CSIR exam. Okay. My name is Sridhar Paranjpi, I am from Biotechnica, and next 1.5 hour of our lecture video would be on how to get into the CSIR laboratories, which are the different laboratories present across India, and how to activate your fellowships, the fellowship amount, as well as how to select your research topics. The first half of the session will be handled by me, and the second half would be handled by Dr. Prabhakaran. He will talk about the research topics and the research highlights in India. Okay, now let's begin. This is what you are right now. You all are qualified as CSIR and trying to get in somewhere in some institute or some laboratories. So let's understand how to get inside and what to do. Now, this is the overview of the lecture video. We'll talk about some various research laboratories, area-wise I have segregated, then the stipend amount and about the fellowship activation. Now, let's begin with the CSIR, the premium laboratories of India. I will be showing you the laboratory name and the major topics on which they are working on. Let's start the first one, the CCMB. It is the hallmark of biological sciences at Hyderabad. They are working on the advanced topics in biology, that is genetics, molecular biology, genomics, bioinformatics, as well on DNA fingerprinting. And they do a lot of work on molecular diagnostics, that's on the diseases, genetic disorder and genetic engineering, gene therapy. A lot of works going on this. So if any one of you is interested in these hi-fi recombinant DNA technology, you can definitely go into CCMB. Okay. So the CCMB has called for PhD exam. Okay. And the last date is on 24th of this month, April 24th. So definitely. I have pasted the link below. You can note down that link, and today itself you can apply for it. It's an online application. The minimum qualification is a CSIR. You should have a CSIR, and on that you should qualify their entrance, their interview, and a rigorous 5 years of PhD course. You'll be the best among all the PhD holders at the end of 5 years. Application is free. Small cost will be something around 200 to 250, not more than that. It's a very cheap price. Okay. Now, moving on to the next institute we shall see now. Yes, good afternoon, Priya. Now, that's CDRI in Lucknow, Central Drug Research Institute. I think most of you might be knowing this. Those are from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar side. They work on the drug discovery aspect. They do not work on the basic genetics topic, but they work on what you call as biopharmaceuticals, in which the applications of genetic engineering, recombinant DNA technology to develop new drugs. They work on different drugs for manufacturing the tropical diseases, cardiovascular disorders, metabolic diseases, and many other problems of ulcer. And they also work on some India's Ayurvedic products, natural herbal products, as well as marine flora and fauna, which can be helpful for drug discovery, a new and therapeutic invention. If anybody is from pharmaceutical background, anybody wants to work in medical field, you can definitely opt this institute. Now, moving on for the third institute in our list, that's the CFTRI in Mysore. A different institute indeed. No, Priya, you didn't miss. This is my third institute in the today's list. Okay. Yes, Amrito, you can join. Biotechnology is like jack of all. Okay, so any biotechnologist can go to any institutes, can go anywhere. Let's go on for the CFTRI. They are a different institute working on the food aspects. So those who are a foodie, who like food, you can go and work there. They work on a lot of technical aspects of food in which you can preserve the food for a long time, reduce its chemical contaminants, reduce its toxicology products, and reduce its any kind of disease carrying capacity. So it just increase its shelf life. A lot of works going on in physical properties of food, micronutrients, probiotics, and some food additives, coloring agents or flavors and all those stuff. A lot of work is going on there. And recently they have also started working on GM foods, genetically modified foods. So the biotechnologists can be the part of GM food project laboratories at CFTRI. The Mysore has got one more institute, it's called as DFRL. Defense Research Institute, DFRI. Defense Food Research Institute. Now, you can go in there. They are working basically for the defense establishment. Just like we have got various defense institutes. DFRI is for the food aspects of defense, military personnel. You can join there and become a part of a PhD scholar. Yeah, DFRI. No, DRDO is for the mechanical stuff. DRDO, it's also in Bangalore. The DRDO was for the manufacturing of rockets, missiles, satellites of military grade. Okay, whereas the DFRI is for the biological aspects of defense, food, and any kind of biological things involved in that military. DRDO was in Bangalore, and unfortunately, biological people cannot go for DRDO. Yes, of course, the DRDO work on biological weapons, but they need PhD holders and scientists. They don't have PhD openings for that. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about different institutes in New Delhi also. I'm going from one by one. Now, the fourth institute of our catalog is the Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plant. It's one more different domain of biological sciences in which we focus on conservation of plant, generation of new plant varieties. Okay? These are the major topics they work on. They work on plant tissue culture in regenerating the secondary metabolites and production of new plant varieties. It's in Lucknow. So Lucknow has got two major institutes. Now moving on to the second, one more list. That's Indian Institute of Chemical Biology. That's in Calcutta. I think anybody is from Calcutta, you might have seen this. IICB of Calcutta. They work basically on bioinformatics topic. They don't work on hardcore genetics or hardcore molecular biology, but they tend to focus on structural genomics and structural proteomics, having more to do with chemistry as well as bioinformatics. Now, moving on to the next institute in Chandigarh, that is IMTech, we call very famous. It's Institute of Microbial Technology. They work on all aspects of microbiology, starting from its nomenclature, taxonomy, structure of microbes, its uses, and genetic engineering, at the end bioinformatics. Everything they do with respect to microbes. Somebody must be a JRF somewhere here and they might be obtaining microbial culture. Okay, all those cultures come from IMTech. They have the stock of all the live culture, and any institute working on microbiology will require to get cultures from those IMTech people. So if you get in there, it's like a hot spot for microbiology. Anybody interested in microbiology can definitely get inside. Now, moving on to the next institute in Lucknow, one more, it's the ITRC. It's an Industrial Toxicological Research Center. It's a completely different domain compared to the previous one what we saw. It focuses more on toxicological aspects and human diseases. They work on neurotoxicology, ectotoxicology, ecotoxicology, phototoxicology, and many different toxicology works across India. They are carried out by IRITRC at Lucknow. Now, another institute in our hotspot is the NBRI. Yes, Amrito, it's related to pharma. That is a toxicological works. Even biotechnology can be a part of it. Anybody can be a part of that. No problem. You can see this NBRI work on a series and a very long list of topics. It's a big institute, and interestingly they work on non-crop plant genetic resources. They don't work on our major crops. Okay? To work on the major crops, we have got different institutes. They're called as the CPCRI. It's in Kasaragod and many different parts of India. They work on crop plants like coconut, rice, anything like that, of that sort. Now, anybody interested in biofuel or biofertilizers, you can be a part of NBRI, Lucknow. Now, moving on to the next. That's about a regional research laboratory in Jammu Tawi. It's presented in Jammu Kashmir area, and this is focusing on all the basic research in biological sciences in most of the fields. They don't have any particular specialization as such, but they work on all of them as together. Now, next comes our Parampur IHBT, Institute of Himalayan Bioresearch Technology. It's very famous for its works on conservation biology and Himalayan ecosystem. They also work on floriculture and tea sciences. and they work on virology, pesticides, and different diagnostics, all related to the plant sciences. Palampur Institute. So anybody interested in plant sciences, you can opt for this Himalayan Biosource. Now moving on to the next institute in our list, that is the IGIB, that's in New Delhi, Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology. It's the hotspots of genetic engineering in India. Anybody interested in that, you can definitely opt for these institutes. They work on the hardcore topics like genomics, molecular medicine, and they work on the genomic informatics. They work on environmental biotechnology and definitely on the design and synthesis of different polypeptides as well as nucleotides. They work on very hardcore genetic engineering topics. It's a new research going on there. So if anybody wants to work on new kind of things in genetic engineering and recombinant DNA, you can go for these institutes, IGIB, CCMB, and all those institutes. Oh, you missed the exam, Amrito, yeah, can attend it again next time. Now, moving on to the next institute, one more in Jammu Kashmir, that is Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine. They work on more the medicinal aspects of different products, maybe particularly the fermentation technology, maybe herbal drugs, medicinal plants, agrotechnology of aromatic plants and phytochemicals, also neurosetics. Lot of plant-based medical work goes on in this institute. You can opt for this if you're interested in that. Moving on to next, let's see the institutes in and around the Bangalore, Karnataka area. It's a hotspot of Biological Science Institute, Bangalore. So if anybody wants to come down to Bangalore, you're always welcome here. It's a hotspot. You can see so many institutes around. Starting with the first, India's premier, the oldest institute and the best, IISc. Okay, it has got these 6 major domains. All of them are state of the art, the best ones. The biochemistry, ecological sciences, microbiology and cell biology. Then we got molecular biophysics. Then we got molecular reproduction and development and genetics. It's very difficult to get into IISc, but if you get in, your life is settled. Okay, so try for it if you can. It's the best of all. The next we got the JNCASR, that is the Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. They are different from IISc in that these people focus more on genetic topics, evolutionary genetics, molecular genetics, cytogenetics, classical genetics. All genetics work goes on in this institute, and they are one of the advanced work goes on here. JNCASR. You can definitely opt for it. You can openings will be there all around the year, and you can just apply there. The vacancies, they will take you inside. Now, next we got the state-of-the-art institute, the NCBS, National Center for Biological Sciences. It's a part of TIFR Mumbai. They work on all these 6 all these major topics which are the best. Okay, Amrito is working there. Good, congratulations, Amrito. You are the part of a best team in India. They work on biochemistry, biophysics, also bioinformatics. They work on genetics and development. They work on cellular organization and signaling, neurobiology, theory and modeling of entire biological systems. And they also work on ecology and evolution. Especially the topics like ecology, evolution are being done very well in CPS, as well the first one, biochemistry, it's the best there. They work a lot on proteins and its different structural properties. And they have got 2 new institutes coming up within NCPS. It's CCAM. First is called CCAM, and next is InSTEM. They are new initiatives which are coming up in NCPS. There are a lot of requirements for GRF position. You can opt for it. Just look for it on NCPS website, you will find it. And if anybody among you has got a new interest of new research idea which nobody has worked about in the world, you can submit that idea to NCPS. They have a new platform which can take up these initiatives and start a work de novo. Okay, you can do with that if you have got new ideas in biological sciences. Now, moving on to the next institute, that is NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, the state of art in entire India, which works on the mental sciences Okay, they work with all these 6 important aspects: biophysics, biostatistics, psychology, epidemiology, human genetics, as well as neurosciences. NIMHANS is very famous for its work on human genetics as well as neurosciences. So anybody is interested in working in those neurosciences, you should opt for NIMHANS. Okay. Now moving on to the next institute, that is INSTEM, that is a stem cell institute. That's a part of NCBS initiative. You can be a part of it. There are lots of many JRFs openings are coming up. Now, one more in Bangalore is called as UAS, University of Agricultural Sciences. It's the best for agricultural field. Anybody is from MSc Agri background or Agri Biotechnology can go for this institute. They are calling for a lot of JRFs these days. Now, let's go for the second type of institutes in India. They are called as the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, IISER, which came up in 2010 under the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, which has got 5 different institutes across India. The one we got in Kolkata, and the one in Pune, the new one in Bhopal, Mohali, as well in south part of India, that is in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. So anybody want to go there, they directly apply. IISER are new initiatives, so definitely they got a lot of openings for PhD, JRF, faculty, all the positions. So keep looking for those websites. You will have a lot of openings there. And just apply, you will get it. Because they are new, they need people like you. Then let's move about to Delhi. Yes, Amruto, all the IISERs are really good. They are good on the basis of infrastructure. They are all having good facilities. And all of them are new initiatives, so I cannot definitely compare them with IISc, but they are good, having a lot of instruments, and their motto is very good. Their research team is very good. You can be a part of it. Now, let's move on for the Delhi Institute. Delhi has got very good institutes, many of them. The first is a class institute, it's AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. You can apply there for a JRF as well PhD position. Then we got the Indian Institute of Technology Delhi, that's IIT Delhi. Then we got the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, ICGB, in New Delhi, that's on the south part of Delhi. That's the best for genetic engineering. They are the class. They are working on very hot topics of genetic engineering and recombinant DNA technology. Amruto, the ICGB forms will be open in the month of May or something. They will conduct an exam in the month of July or August. The minimum qualification is to have CSIR to write ICGB exam. Okay? It's an international center, so you'll be working with international quality faculty and research people. You will be on the top of the list. Then we got JNU in New Delhi, definitely the premier and a very old institute. Then we got NIPGR, also called National Center for Plant Genome and Research. It's just near to ICGB in Delhi. It works basically on plant sciences and plant genetic engineering. Then we got National Institute of Immunology, NII. NII forms are closed and they conduct a separate exam. But you can apply separately if you got CSIR qualification. Just look for the professor and apply. If he's interested, he will call you back. Because you guys have the fellowship with you. The next comes in the list, it is National Brain Research Institute. It's in Gurgaon, not exactly in Delhi, where eastern north part of Delhi. It works on all the neurological sciences and the brain, about the human brain. It's a good institute and only one which works on the hardcore brain in India. Now, yes, Amruto, you see, yeah, and I don't give you a PhD without qualifying the exam, but you can become a JRF there, join a summer project, under project, and start working. Next year you can qualify the exam, next year. NII exam is pretty simple. Compared to CSIR, it's like 50% of CSIR. It's not at all difficult. Get in there, write exam, clear it, and be a part of a PhD team. That's it. Now, moving on to next institutes around Hyderabad. We have seen the first one, the top of the list, the CCMB, the best among all, Okay, the next follows is we got Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics. We got CDFD, they work on all they are a part of CBI, crime branch, and they work on all fingerprinting aspects. And we got LV Prasad Eye Institute, which work on the eye, human eye system. If you are interested in that, you can be a part of it. It is not a big university as such, just an institute. You just go there, inquire about JRF position or any PhD position, just get in there. Exactly, Urmila. Not only NII, to get in any institute, you can have a lot of different ways out there. One way is by directly applying for the institute, clear an exam and get inside. That's a formal way. And other than that, NII Krishna, NII, National Institute of Immunology, Delhi. And you can just approach a professor, scientist, work under him for a few months as an intern or something, qualify the exam and get in, or join as a JRF under the project. Then convert that work into a PhD, maybe in the course of 2 to 3 years. So you can do the same in many institutes, all the same thing will follow. Then we got the University of Hyderabad. That's very good for the biochemical works. Okay, Urmila, where you are working NII as a JRF? Urmila? Okay, that's good. Maybe you can try to convert it into PhD work. Just convince your guide to do that. All depends on your PI. All in his control. Yeah. Now, moving on to next institutes around Kolkata. We got Bose Institute, which works on genetic, genomic and bioinformatics work. Then definitely, as I talked about earlier, IICT. Then we got Indian Statistical Institute. If anybody of you are interested in statistics, biostatistics, you can be a part of Indian Statistical Institute. Now, moving on to next about around the Mumbai area. Mumbai has got pretty long list of institutes. Starting with the first one, the TMC, Tata Memorial Center. They have a part Advanced Center for Treatment, Research, Education in Kerala. It's called as ACTREC. You can apply for that. I think the TMC forms are already out, right? You have applied for it? TMC forms are I think already out, or maybe it's closed also. Then we got India's the premier in nuclear sciences, Baba Atomic Research Center. Their Baba BARC exam, every year they conduct the exam to get into PhD as well as scientist position. Apart from that, you can apply for a JRF post if it comes up. Then we got IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay are having a MOU with Monash, Institute of Monash in Australia. So they are very good in that. Amrito for BARC exam is over. Okay, the BARC exam is over. All are waiting for the results. That's it. Usually exam comes in the month of February. You got to apply in the month of December. Now next we got TIFR. It's a part of NCBS in Mumbai. They also work on many aspects of biological sciences. Then we got University of Mumbai, definitely, and NCL, National Chemical Laboratory. They don't work on the hardcore genetics topic, but definitely they have got a laboratory of bioinformatics and biochemical. You can be a part of it. Then we got the state-of-the-art NCCS, National Center for Cell Sciences. Then we got in Pune. Then we got University of Pune as well as National Institute of Virology, Pune. There are the 3 class institutes of Pune. Anybody is from Pune or Maharashtra, you can look for the institutes because it is close for your application place as well. They work on all good aspects of biological sciences. Moving on to next for the South people in Kerala, the southern part of India. We got Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology, RGCB. They are very good in biotechnology work. Even their PhD forms are already out and finished. Again, it comes up in the month of December. To apply for this, you need to be a CSIR qualified student to apply for this institute. Any institute, mind it, any institute which requires you to be a CSIR qualified to write their entrance or to come to interview, it means they are the best institute. They're looking for the best guys. Okay. We have a question from Krishna. He's saying, is there an exam for ACTREC? No, they don't have any exam, Krishna. They just have got interview procedure. You just have to apply with your credential. If you are shortlisted, they will call you for interview, like that. Moving on to next, from the parts about the stipend and tenure. So far we just saw the various institutes across India which are very important, and you can be a part of it. Apart from this, I will email all of you by today evening entire list of institutes and universities in India. You can be there. Yes, Urmila, ACTREC do conduct exam for different grades. They have got different ways of entering PhD. For different zone, they have got different exams. If you want to go for ACTREC, that cancer research, you need an exam. If you want to become a part of the TMC, you don't have an exam. Like, they have got different laboratories. Depending on that, they have got different type of interviews. Let's see, this is your stipend. It's just equivalent to a good handsome salary. What you get these days after MSc. Usually the tenure is for 5 years, and time you have got is 2 years. Within 2 years, that is 2013, by 2015 you must be enrolled somewhere under a PI for a PhD position, or your JRF will be lapsed. You will not activate it. Now, after activating the JRF by joining the PhD, you will get 5 years of fellowship, stipend and all the facilities. You get close to 16,000 plus HRA. The total emolument comes close to 20,000 per month for a JRF. It's a pretty good amount. And SRF will come for like 24,000 you will get in hand. Yes, Amruto, it is like this. If you don't enroll anywhere for PhD, you just sit quiet working somewhere, you did not activate your fellowship, then only 2 years of validity. Okay, you just have to activate within 2 years. Once activated, it will be active for 5 years, like that. Because at the end of 5 years, your PhD work will be done. You are almost submitting your thesis. After that time, you don't receive any fellowship. Then your PhD work is done. In case if your PhD work is not done, you want extension, you can extend it for 1 more year with your prior permission from the PI for 1 more 6 years. Yes, after completing the 2 years as a JRF, there is a form to be filled up by you as well as by your PI. Okay, in that PI will mention about your work. Are you a good worker? Are you improving? Have you given any kind of research submission so far? So depending on his recommendation, you will be promoted from JRF to SRF. So I can say, once you enter the PhD, PI is your God. He is your Almighty. Whatever he says, yes. Whatever he says, no, no. He is your God. Okay, Amruta has asked a question about IISc. What happens in the 7 years of average? IISc have got a different session. IISc have got their own funding. IISc don't depend on CSIR. If you become a part of IISc, you will get fellowship directly from IISc itself. Same amount. So they will give you till the exam, you are like 6 years of completion. They will give you till 6 years. The last 7th year, you have to enroll for a project and get those project funding. You don't get a fellowship after 6 years. That will be taken care of, nothing to worry. By the time you will be in IISc for 6 years, you know top to bottom about how to get the fellowship. That will be taken care of, nothing to worry about it. No, Priya, there is no valid difference for CSIR and UGC. Both are same. The only difference is in terms of rank and the fellowship amount. The UGC JRF will get fellowship amount of 14 and 16 instead of 16 and 18. And the people with MTech background, the GATE scholar, GATE CSIR scholar, anybody is there? GATE CSIR, GATE topper, CSIR topper. They will get a huge amount close to 24. Okay. They will be a part of CSIR GATE fellowship. It's a different fellowship. It's a 24,000. Okay. Anjali is asking a question, what exactly is the difference between JRF and enrolling for PhD? Work-wise or stipend-wise? Okay, I'll tell you the basic idea. Now, there is a person called as a scientist. He will be working in a research laboratory. Okay, research laboratory is different, the scientist is different. Now, the scientist is having a CSIR funding. CSIR is a third party which controls all the research in India, which gives fellowship, which gives funding, which gives instruments, everything it handles. The scientist will be having the funding and the research project from CSIR, DBT and many different institutes. The scientist need people to work on the project. He will call for JRF position, Junior Research Fellow position. So whoever is going there will be a part of it, will be called as JRF. We will work under that scientist for the project. Now scientist will not give you money. Now the institute will give you the money. The money is given by the CSIR. They are the funding people. They will give you the money. Now PhD is something given by the institute and the scientist PI. Now you have a project with you. You work for a couple of years. You assemble a huge amount of data, and then you apply to your PI, request your PI to convert your project into a PhD. So that whatever work you have done in that project will be considered as your PhD thesis. Now, if you enroll for any institute directly as a PhD student by qualifying their exam or interview, this entire process will not be there. Institute has the funding, institute scientist has the project, he will pay, institute pays you, and all the things are taken care of. From the first day itself, your work will be a PhD work. But if you apply separately under a scientist, his work is very interesting, you apply it under him, you join him as his own JRF. Institute has nothing to do with that. Okay? Now, after joining him, if he is pleased, if your work is very good, you convert the same into PhD and you get a PhD degree at the end of 4 or 5 years. So this is the blueprint of entire research protocol in India. Anywhere in the world, the similar strategy is slightly different. Okay. Priya is asking, is the fellowship valid even if we are doing PhD in any deemed university? Yes, Priya, it depends. It depends that the deemed university is recognized by CSIR and the scientist is recognized by CSIR. If you work under any normal person who is a lecturer or a professor in the institute, he may not be recognized by CSIR. CSIR will not fund him or fund you. You should be a part of a CSIR funded project. CSIR recognized the scientist or the professor. So deemed universities will be having those eminent scientists. Just inquire and we get inside. And a question from Amrito Das for Master of Engineering, CSIR qualified students, what is the amount I will get? Okay, Amrito, if you are just a CSIR qualified without a GATE fellowship, you will get same amount, close to 18, 16 and 18. There is a new aspect that is called as a CSIR GATE fellowship. Okay, if you are a GATE topper, you coming around the top 50 of GATE, top 50 of CSIR will be called as a GATE CSIR fellow. You would apply in a different manner for that. You can find the application on the CSIR website, CSIR HRDG, a different procedure. Same way, but fellowship is different. You will get close to 24,000 initially. It's a huge amount you get if you are a topper in both GATE as well as CSIR. Yeah. We have a question from Priya. What about Bangalore University? Look, Priya, my suggestion about university is that universities have got two problems. One, most universities are still working in 1947 model. That means they are still in a very basic fungus study, very basic algae study. They have not yet entered the advanced molecular biology. Most of the universities. And most universities don't have proper instruments. There are no proper instruments, like they don't have, most of them don't have PCR, most of them don't have HPLC. You got to move around to some other institute or company to get results done. So if you join to Bangalore University or any other university as a matter, you will face these two problems. The work will be slightly secondary standard compared to the previous institute, and will be devoid of very hi-fi work, a hi-fi scientist and a hi-fi environment which is needed for a PhD student. Since all you are CSIR qualified, better join for institute than university. Anil is asking, for enrolling as JRF or PhD, is the validity of CSIR in both the cases 2 years? Yes, Anjali. JRF and PhD is the same, it's a 2 year. The moment you become a JRF, you will get the fellowship. You convert that into PhD or not, it's up to you. Will you end up becoming a PhD or not is up to you. But the moment you enter a JRF under a scientist, your fellowship is activated. You have to apply that form and send that form to from CPI signature, send it to CSIR. It will be active. You start receiving monthly fellowship. Question from Priya is asking, have anybody got the scorecard? Yes, Priya, scorecard is on the website. CSIR has released the marks sheet. You will see the certificate, entire certificate, or just a mark statement. Certificates will come late. You just start to apply for certificate. In CSIR website, they will mention contact this person for certificates and his email ID and address. Just in envelope, send all your marks card and every credential to add to them. Sorry, and they will respond you back with the certificate. Okay. We got a question from Pranjal. What about integrated MTech plus PhD in IITs? Can we apply? Yes, you can apply, Pranjal. You can apply for IITs. Yeah, you will get certificate. You will get, but not right now. It will take like 1 or 2 months for certificate. Minimum 1 or 2 months for certificate. Exactly. Now, just when you have released the mark statement, after this they will start working on certificate. So maybe by April end or May first week you may start. They will allow you to apply for certificates. That time we can do it. Keep looking for Biotecnika website. We will be giving you alerts when the certificate is coming up. Okay. Alright. What if, to ask a question, what if your JRF is not converted to PhD? Since you are a CSIR qualified, it will be converted into PhD. Because you will be receiving CSIR fellowship. Because you are CSIR qualified, you will be a part of a very good institute under a very good scientist. That will become a PhD automatically. Even though you don't want it, it becomes a PhD. But if you are not qualified, you join as a small university or small colleges for JRF. That is a difficult part. For example, you join NCBS as JRF. NCBS don't convert JRF into PhD. They never do it. You must qualify their entrance exam, NCBS in Bangalore. In that case, what happens? You can enroll under different university in India and work in NCBS. That way you can manage. Laboratory NCBS, JRF, converting that PhD, work into PhD in some other university. That kind of adjustments can be done, but they will take a lot of time. Depends on your PI, depends on the university, depends on the scientific guide there, lot of complications. University of Manipal, yeah, Manipal University is very good. It's a private deemed university. It's very good. You can go there. I have not talked about in the session because they are all deemed university. I'm just talking about the premier CSIR funded labs, only those. Okay, Anjali asking, I have been called for IIT Bombay PhD interview during May first week. Okay, congratulations. At that time, we might have to bring certificates. So for the time being, will the mark sheet be in the website? Exactly. You can get the xerox of the mark sheet, get a printout of it. That's more than sufficient because below they will be mentioning 48% is JRF qualifying marks. You must have got more than, I think you got more than 55, 56, Anjali, because you are 23rd rank. So you have a very high rank, marks also. That is more than sufficient. And even IIT Bombay people will know that still certificate is not yet out, so they will not create any problem. Your mark was 123, awesome, that's a huge, very great marks. Alright then, so this ends my first session. Anything else online? What is the shortlisting criteria for IIT Bombay? They will be having, you need a gate for that. You need a gate, very high score, and just apply for it when they call. I think IIT Bombay application is already over, I guess. Pranjal asking, JRF and engineering science is new. How many JRFs are given each year for each branch? Pranjal, I cannot say right away how many JRF exactly. There is a thing called as allocation. It is not a college. PhD is not a college, so there is no seats. Okay, you just have to go and find out. You just have to apply there and just get inside. That's it. PhD's degree is earned. You should apply for it, get it earned. There is no seats allocated for that. Krishna is asking, which is the best institute for cancer biology? Definitely TMC. TMC, Tata Memorial Center Cancer Actric in Mumbai. It's very good for cancer. Apart from that, NCBS, they're working, and also ICGP, they're working on cancer biology. They are good. Apart from that, there are many institutes working on cancer. Right. Okay, anything else online? I will end my session now. We will have one more session, maybe in 5 minutes, from Dr. Prabhakaran. He will talk about a research topic and how to select your PI. Okay, I was asking the Sudhir Krishna from NCBS does amazing work. Yeah, there are many great people in NCBS. Chanil is asking which is the best genomic institute. We can say NIPGR, National Institute of Planned Genome Research. NIPGR, very good. In Genome Institute in Delhi. What about IIAR? See, many good institutes are very well. Advanced research, institutes are very well. It just depends on what your topic of interest where you want to get in. All institutes are good on their own grounds. Alright, the more about the same, how to select and how to get the institute, the next person will talk about it. Okay, alright, we'll have a break of 5 minutes and then I will assemble back. I will not end the session, this will be active, the same will be continued, so do not log off, stay in the session for 5 minutes, have a tea and come back. Yeah, Chandni, how to prepare for interview and all information will be given by the next person in 5 minutes. Okay, he will talk about all those aspects. Anjali, validity of fellowship is lectureship, it is lifetime. It is lifetime. Any day you can become a lecturer. There is no fellowship validity for it. Alright then everybody, thank you for your patient listening and your cooperation. And all the very best for your future endeavors. If you got in very good institutes, keep in touch with us. We'll be very happy for you. Alright then, have a good life. All the best.